All right.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
Good morning, Connecticut. You're listening to the Daily Sports Rant.
Yes, indeed. It is March 6th.
Tuesday morning.
My dad's birthday. Happy
Really?
birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Mr. Paragone.
So there we go. That's how we start today off.
Hopefully he is.
Hopefully
he's sleeping in.
No, he's probably not sleeping.
He's probably listening.
No, he's got to wake up. I got 4 siblings. He's got to wake them all up for school. It's a whole disaster.
That is a mess.
Yes, it is a mess and a half. Indeed.
And plus he wants to listen to you.
Exactly. He's got to listen to our great show. So
well,
that's what's going on.
We have a exciting, great show, and
we do indeed. We do indeed.
We have a lot to talk about. So let's
yeah,
just put it that way.
Yeah, that's why we're starting a couple minutes early today.
Right,
which is fine.
Yeah,
we can really start whenever we want here. I mean,
we could just come in at like 6:30.
If we really wanted to come in at like 5 o'clock in the morning, we could be here and just do whatever we want.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And at some point in the near future, we will have to because there's so much going on.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's too much, especially once we come back from break and baseball is pretty much starting and March Madness it's gonna be
a lot.
The draft is gonna be ridiculous.
The draft is 50 days away. March Madness, selection. This is just
Sunday. So much.
And we'll be gone.
NBA.
Actually, Wednesday will be our last show for about a week and a half.
Yeah, like a week and a half.
So during spring break, we're going to have a lot of...
we're going to come back and just have way too much.
Yeah, we'll probably have a couple of 2-hour shows.
Yeah, we might come in here at 6 o'clock, guys. Who knows?
Might need to, just for us.
Exactly. Just because we're going to have too much. Too much.
And we'll start out here with the NFL Bounty program. Bounty Gate, we'll call it.
Bounty Gate, I like
Bounty
that.
Gate.
Yeah, I like it.
Like Spygate.
Yeah. But, it's very interesting, I think, obviously. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
For everyone who doesn't know about it, it's basically ex-Saints defensive coordinator Greg Williams, who is now working for the Rams. Mm-hmm. Who knows how long?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, throughout his career, he's had this bounty program with every team he's been with, whether that be Washington, Buffalo, Tennessee, New Orleans, and now the Rams. But we'll wait and see what happens with him on the Rams. Anyway,
yeah, it
was basically paying players to have hard hits, knockouts, and injure other players. And in this day and age, that's just irresponsible.
Exactly. With how big these guys are now, how athletic, how you could really take somebody down pretty hard. Especially if you're trying. You don't even have to try and you could do it. Yeah. But then if you're actually going out there trying to do it, that could cause some problems.
Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of problems.
And not only that, it's
going to. The era of Roger Goodell, who's come in here and said player safety is number one thing because of all the concussions and all the lawsuits they have. And then for this to come out and say that players were literally trying to hurt and knock people out of the game, it's a huge mess. Yeah. A huge mess.
Exactly. He's come into the league, laid down the law with everything in terms of safety, and then this comes up and just makes everything. It looks bad in terms of everything for the NFL. Just because if you got guys out there trying to hurt other players in the league, it just doesn't look good for your brand there.
And a lot of people don't like Goodell and what he's brought. Because more often than not, people love the big hits in the NFL. I can even argue that some people will want to see big hits more than a beautifully thrown touchdown pass.
Yeah.
It's just the violence of our country, basically, and the way people like their sports.
The violence of our country.
Yeah, you like that?
I like that.
But it's true, though.
It is true.
There's YouTube videos of huge hits between 2010 and 2011.
No, exactly.
But there's not, beautifully thrown touchdowns.
No, exactly. You go on YouTube and you're looking up, that hit. You're not gonna oh, that was a great throw. Let me see that again.
It's whoa, that guy just got rocked.
That guy just got destroyed coming across the middle. He will never do that again. That's pretty much what's going on.
And just Roger Goodell has this huge thing about player safety, and this comes out, and I'm sure he's furious. And Greg Williams is going to meet with him soon, I believe. But
I heard yesterday, but I don't think they did they?
No, they didn't. But he's going. It was rumored that he was talking, but now he's actually flying there. And a lot is going to happen within the next couple of days. Let's just put it that way.
I read somewhere that he could face court charges or something crazy.
Probably.
Like that.
If people were injured, let's just put it this way: the Saints started it in 2009. In 2009, they won the Super Bowl. And in 2009, Peyton Manning got injured.
Yeah.
And he's still suffering from that injury right now.
If
Manning wanted to sue the Saints organization, if Manning wanted to sue Greg Williams, just think about it. How many players? I mean, if you go back, I don't have the stats in front of me. I don't think anyone does, but I'm pretty sure they're the team that has the most injuries to other, opposing teams and players.
I mean, it would make sense after all this.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
And in the championship game that year with Favre went down with an ankle sprain.
Yeah.
With a high ankle sprain.
I think he made some comments yesterday. I didn't get to see him, but I heard he said something.
Favre and Warner came out and said something. I mean, Favre said that he wasn't. I mean, he thought that every hit against him. He said basically every hit against him is illegal, but he wasn't too worried about it. I mean, he is retired now and has nothing else to worry about. But
he's got nothing.
Kurt Warner was kind of pissed off.
Kurt Warner's a good guy. I mean, I think he's a well-respected guy to take seriously.
Yeah, no, he is.
So it's definitely interesting. We'll see where it takes everybody.
I don't understand it because as a player, I mean, you're out there. You're supposed to make that hit. You're supposed to tackle. There should be no extra money incentive for you to.
No, there really shouldn't. They really shouldn't at all. I mean,
they're already being paid millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Every day we talk about how we're going to make about $1 million lifetime, and not even be able to spend it all.
Exactly.
But
these guys are making it like it's nothing.
So, like, let's just say, I don't know, Ed Reed, who's making $10 million a year at least, gets an extra couple grand for a big hit, and he's a big hit. He's a big hit guy. So let's just put it that way. I mean, it's not Ed Reed who's doing it. He wasn't on the Saints.
But we're just using it as an example.
There's just no reason for him to have the extra money. And I've heard people saying that they didn't have bounty programs on their teams, but they did have programs where if you got an interception, you got extra money. That still doesn't make sense to me. You should be trying your hardest at every point in time out on the field.
That's your job. That's why you're getting paid. Exactly. It shouldn't be an incentive to get more money. Like
you and I, if this was our job, we should be paid to do it. And if we came in extra early, they're not going to pay us.
No,
extra
exactly.
money.
This is what we're expected to do.
Right. Exactly.
They're expected to go out there and do what they do. Not like, oh, you did that, so we're going to give you more money now. Like what? Then why are you even paying them in the first place?
Exactly. No, it's just an incentive based, and that's why I think everything needs to be changed to incentive based because clearly players just want to play for, the highlight reel and incentives.
Exactly.
And I mean, if you change the league to everyone getting paid, X amount of money, and then they get extra money for incentives, then, hey, that could actually work out, and then you wouldn't be overplaying players. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of guys out there who are just, I don't want to say dogging it, but obviously if you gave them the incentive, you'd really see their true skill come out and just take over. I think
exactly. Well, this program is just a lot is going to happen to Greg Williams and the Saints organization. I mean, if you thought Spygate was bad, where the team got fined $250,000, Belichick got fined $500,000, and the team lost their first-round draft pick, this is worse.
No, this is way worse. He's going down. He's going down hard.
I think Williams is getting fired because there's even reports he did it in Washington, in Buffalo.
No, yeah, I saw that. Everywhere he's been, he's just been like, let's just take everybody out, guys. No problem.
So as of right now, the Saints are the number one target, and they're probably going to lose draft picks. They might even lose the whole draft, which would ruin the organization.
That would be terrible.
But it comes down to if they find out that he did it in Washington as well, there could be literally 0 teams picking in the draft this year. If they take away draft picks from the Redskins, the Bills, the Titans, the Saints.
And if they took it away from the Redskins, that would kill them. Because like we said, they're so close, and they could, get that quarterback. And then if they get that taken away, poor Redskins.
It would. And it's not even to a team that has anything to do with Williams now.
Exactly.
But still, the team allowed it. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to agree with. I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I'm just saying.
But the bad thing right here is that Sean Payton knew about it and didn't stop it.
Yeah.
The GM knew about it, didn't stop it. The league told them to stop because the league found out about it, and they still didn't stop. And for that, I think everyone should be fired. Personally,
everybody's got to go.
I think Payton, even Sean Payton, who's a genius of a coach.
Yeah.
The owner needs to get rid of him. The owner needs to start fresh.
Yeah, I mean, this
is bad. This is
I mean, as hard as that is to say, I mean, they probably, because this is a big deal. I mean, this is not something to be taken lightly when you go out there and tell your players to go injure other players, and everybody knows about it, and you've been told to stop, and you continue to do it, even though you know it's wrong, then there's a problem there. I mean, that's just it, pretty much.
And I was struggling to see what the difference is between an Ohio State player getting a sticker and an NFL player getting money.
Yeah.
And really it just comes down to when money is involved, people are nervous. People get, giddy, or, it's just they're nervous because money brings a different factor into it.
Changes everything, pretty much. It just, I don't know. Obviously, like you said, the sticker isn't. The money is just because, I don't really know how to describe it. It's different.
It is different.
Just changes everything.
Well, the sticker, it clearly is, a symbol of you did something well for the team, whatever happens, sack, interception, hard hit. And I'm sure players do get stickers for hard hits. It really pumps everyone up. But they're not getting money. They're not getting paid to literally injure people.
Exactly.
And yeah, like you said, it's definitely could be a case for litigation. It could go further.
It could go a lot. I was reading it could go up to the courts and everything.
Yeah, and NFL is right now the number one sport in America, and this could be the downfall of it.
Exactly. You can't have something like this injure the image of the sport.
No, if you get government and litigation and Congress involved, then the sport's going to go down because they're going to make rules that people don't want, and no one can go above those rules. And that's the game.
Pretty much.
That's
pretty much
basically what's going to have to happen. So
yeah, but
we'll keep everyone updated.
Yeah, we'll follow that.
As of right now, I'm just calling that everyone's being cleaned out, and the Saints are losing picks, and
it's going to be a mess. Pretty much. Probably when we come back from break, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. We'll definitely know a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
Come March 19th when we're back. But we'll be here tomorrow. But I doubt.
I don't think too much different will change from tonight to tomorrow.
No, but if anything does, we'll
obviously talk about it.
But, we'll stick with football. We'll go to the AFC South.
Yep, AFC South divisional needs.
Yeah, that's good. Divisional needs. So
divisional needs.
Let's keep it at that.
We'll keep it at that.
Let's start with the champs of the division, Texans.
Who are the Texans? What do I have at Texans? What do you have at Texans?
I have wide receiver.
Yeah, I had that too. They got Andre Johnson, but after that, they got nothing. They have zero. Like I don't even know who the heck is on their team besides. In terms of wide receivers or any type of receiver besides Andre Johnson. Just when he was injured last year, they were a mess. When they had no go-to guy. I think Owen Daniels was there. Their leading receiver, which is kind of sad. That's 6'77".
He's a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like he's, Gronkowski tight end.
No. They have another tight end who's not that bad, Joel Dressen, and he catches a lot. But you're right. After Andre Johnson, there's no one. And Andre Johnson, in the past 2 years, has missed quite a few games. So number 2 wide receiver was my need. Let's just put it that way. But you're right, because Andre Johnson I think he's the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, when he's playing, he's very, very good. He's the complete package, in my opinion.
Right.
He's doing it all.
He's awesome.
He's awesome.
And Kevin Walter is the number 2 guy there. But like you said, no one knows about him.
Exactly. He's not really a solid number 2 guy that you really need to worry about.
No, and when Johnson goes down, because Johnson goes down, he has very bad hamstring issues. Mm-hmm. Kevin Walter steps into your number 1. I don't want Kevin Walter as my number 1. So
not at all.
Wide receiver is my biggest need because their defense really stepped it up. Their defense got a whole hell of a lot better when Jonathan Joseph came from the Bengals this year.
Yeah, they were third in both run D and pass yards per game.
Their defense was outstanding, and it missed Mario Williams basically.
Pretty much.
He played 5 games, and they still held basically the best defense in my opinion.
Yeah, and you bring him back, and it's just,
Well, we'll see if he comes back. He's a free agent.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Hopefully, I'd like to see
if
them.
If he does come back, I should say, then that'd be solid.
I do think they do have really good linebacking behind him as well, because he was officially a linebacker this year and not a defensive end, but I really do think. And they signed Arian Foster the other day.
I did, 5-year deal. I saw it last
So
night.
their offense is pretty set. They just need the number 2 wide receiver.
That second guy that can, do some damage. Because obviously Foster's good, really good.
Foster's awesome. And then
running back.
Ben Tate as well as their number 2. So
they have solid running backs there. And, obviously, like we said, Andre Johnson. But, you need the number 2 guy just because you do.
And you see the best teams in the league, they always have at least 2 to 3 options to go to.
Yeah, I mean,
Andre Johnson's the only option in that city.
The only option. It's not even like they have a solid number 2 guy, like a compliment. There's nothing. I mean, Kevin, no. Can't get the job done with Kevin Walter.
There's nothing there. So I'm putting wide receiver as basically the only need. I mean, maybe you can throw in some linemen.
You can nitpick
throw
with
in
that
everywhere,
and everything, yeah.
But the number one position is, for me, wide receiver.
The glaring need, I think, is definitely wide receiver, we can say.
All right.
So, who's next?
Well, we have the Colts here.
Yeah.
They're a different story.
The Colts are a mess. I mean, they'll get Luck, pretty much.
Yeah, they'll get Luck.
They'll get Luck. I think Mathis is a free agent. Is that
he just signed? He re-inked yesterday.
Right. So I think they could probably. Reggie Wayne's a free agent, though.
Reggie Wayne. I believe that wherever Peyton goes, Reggie Wayne is going.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll re-sign Reggie Wayne. He is a little older.
Yeah, I don't think they should. I mean, if that's the case, though, I think they definitely need another wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I put wide receiver down as well. Actually, I put wide receiver down for a lot of these teams.
Yeah.
But
I actually had a couple too. Yeah.
Yeah, wide receiver. I'd like them to re-sign Wayne only because behind him there's not a lot of players. I mean, there's good players. Pierre Garçon is a free agent, though.
Yeah.
Then you have Anthony Gonzalez, and not that much after that. And Peyton Manning is really the one who makes wide receivers better than they are.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a rookie QB coming in, you need some guys to throw to, I think. Just
throw to, and you need veteran leadership still. Yeah. You need some guy who knows the plays, who's been there. And Wayne, I mean, regardless, they do have a new coach and everything, so they have new players. Or plays, excuse me. But, Reggie Wayne could be that guy who kind of helps Luck.
Mm-hmm.
And if they re-sign Wayne, then they can focus on other things because they
like you said,
they are a mess.
They are pretty much a mess.
Mathis and Freeney
they're getting old.
On the wrong side of 30. And I mean, you can argue that at one point they were the best tandem defensive ends.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They were huge. I mean, Freeney was a monster over there.
But they're both, as we said, aging and coming out of their prime. You have Dallas Clark out of his prime. Peyton Manning gone, probably. Reggie Wayne probably gone. Jeff Saturday gone. He's going wherever Manning goes.
Yeah, I mean, so pretty much like the old guard of the team. All the big time guys when they win are old or gone.
Past decade, basically.
Yeah.
With Peyton Manning leaving, the team literally leaves as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much wrong with this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the end of the era of the Colts, pretty much is what's going on at this point.
They're going back into the rebuilding stage.
Yep, exactly, which is, obviously not fun, but it happens. It happens to teams, exactly. So
right, it happens all the time. You see teams that have, 5 to 10 years of greatness and just to fall back down.
Exactly, because everybody gets old or whatever. So, but, besides wide receiver, I think just with Freeney and Mathis getting older, they should probably, look at some DNs, just in draft. Not really.
Nope.
Nothing too crazy, but just as a.
I just said defense as a whole.
Oh, yeah. Defense as a whole.
They had a pretty bad defense last year.
Yeah, they were not good.
It wasn't even like, because everyone blamed Peyton for why they're doing so bad.
No, their defense stuck.
Their defense, Peyton had nothing to do with their defense, and their defense was so bad last year.
They were terrible. They didn't really do too much well. Looking at all the team stats for that, they were pretty much the bottom and everything.
Let's put it that way.
So it was not a good year for the defense, to say the least.
But obviously they're taking a quarterback with the number 1 pick, and Peyton Manning will be gone most likely.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that he's not coming back at this point.
As of right now, you're right, and I think we should just put our little 2 cents in and let's say where he's going. Where do you think he's going?
Miami.
I
think he's going to Miami.
You think he's going with the billboards?
I think he's going with the billboards. Yeah, I think that's a place for him. But
I really only have 5 places in mind. 5 is 6th of the league, but let's just put it that way. It's between Miami, Washington, Seattle, New York for the Jets because they can always and Kansas City actually. I put that in there. Yeah.
Took Arizona off the list.
Yeah, I did actually. As much as Arizona probably makes sense for him,
it fits. Yeah.
I think that other teams are going to make a lot bigger play, only because they have Kevin Cobb.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
They don't want to pay both those players quite a bit of money because Manning's going to get a lot of money.
Oh yeah, he's still going to command a lot even now. I think there's definitely a lot of question marks.
It's going to be a lot of incentive money,
and
if he plays, he'll get it done. So.
Oh yeah. He's been working out at Duke. I think I saw that the other day. He was at the Carolina game.
Was he really?
Yeah.
that must have been cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, for anyone in the game, it must have been awesome.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, look, there's Peyton Manning.
No big deal.
Just watching us play.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Peyton's gone.
Those big five. All right, so Peyton's gone.
And
with Peyton going, I'm pretty sure Wayne's going with him. Jeff Saturday's going with him.
All the old guys are gone.
All those guys. He's bringing a team.
He's taking
with him,
them
basically.
down. Yeah.
So, whoever gets him is just going to be a whole lot better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'd be scared of whoever gets him. Let's just put it that way, because Miami's
team that gets Peyton is, going to be better off.
It'd be really interesting to see Miami get him, just because the Patriots are in that division. It'd be really interesting.
That is very interesting.
I don't want him in the NFC East, so let's keep him away from the Redskins.
Yes. No, if he was on the Redskins, that would be... Ooh.
That would not be good. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars.
I had a wide receiver for them, too. They got nothing. They got nothing at wide receiver. They have absolutely nothing. Jones-Drew is obviously big-time running back. He's great and all. But he led the team in receiving touchdowns with 3 last year. I mean, anytime I think when your running back is leading the team in receiving touchdowns, there's something going on there.
Their team was just terrible.
They were not good.
I don't think anyone can name a wide receiver from that team to save their life.
I had no idea. I was like, who are these guys when I was looking at who are these guys?
They have Jason Hill, Mike Thomas, Mercedes Lewis. I mean, Mercedes Lewis is not a bad tight end. He's just on a bad team.
No, but when he's leading the league with, leading the team with 460 yards, I think he had.
Yeah,
that's not good.
They basically haven't had a good receiver since Jimmy Smith left.
Yeah. That was a while ago, too, I feel.
It was a long time ago. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They haven't had a decent... They had Mike Sims-Walker, but he left, and he could have been good if they had a good quarterback. So either they haven't had a good quarterback or a good wide receiver. Let's just put it that way.
Combination of both, maybe.
They have Blaine Gabbert now. It would be nice to see them go after a wide receiver. I'm not sure where they pick in the draft.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's definitely in the top 10. Let's just put it that way.
Because they were not good. Not good.
And that either leaves Justin Blackman, although I'll believe he'll be off the board at least by 6 or 5. And then you can go after Malcolm Floyd from Notre Dame. I like him. I think he'll be good. Mm-hmm. But, try to get someone in free agency. I mean,
there's a lot of wide receivers out there.
There's a ton. You can even get the underrated Mario Manningham for a lot less money than...
Exactly. They don't even need one of the big guys. They just need something.
At this point,
they just need to get something. Because whatever they're doing right now is not really working out for them.
And they've got defensive picks past couple years in the first round, so they're pretty set. They had actually a really good defense last year.
Did they?
They had a pretty good defense. They went toe to toe with a lot of teams, but just the offense didn't get it done.
Yeah, no,
and they're a really one-dimensional offense with a rookie quarterback and one of the top 5 running backs in the league. I'll put it that way.
He's very good.
He's a very good running back. They just need someone to throw to.
That's it. That's it. I mean, they need somebody to throw to. Literally somebody. There's no one there to throw to. There's no one.
Atlanta Falcons quarterback, I have a funny quote from him. He said, Dunter Robinson summed up, said, those guys couldn't get a receiver if it hit them in the head. So clearly every other team knows they don't have a
Everybody's
receiver
like,
as well.
Jaguars are coming up. We don't really have to do too much prep on the secondary.
So the Jaguars could, there's either 2 ways they accomplish this. They go after the free agents or they go through the draft. And they can do both.
Either way, they're going to, they should come away with something.
They get Colston, Vincent Jackson. Deshaun Jackson was franchised the other day. We'll get into that later. They have the cap space to sign plenty of free agents this year. A lot of teams actually have a lot of cap space. A lot of teams are over the cap as well.
But. Yeah. I mean, the Jaguars can definitely make a splash, though. That's pretty much what we're saying at this point.
Yeah. And besides receiver, they need some more pass rushers, but they still had a pretty good defense last year.
Yeah, I don't think that's as big a problem as receiver.
No.
But,
Titans will be our last
Titans
football discussion of the day.
I guess I had line. I guess they were last in sacks, so I mean I think that's gotta.
Yeah, I put defensive end. They really haven't had anything.
Yeah, I mean they lost Babin, and then that was.
Babin is so good, and they
He's
just let him
so
walk.
good. He was a monster with the Eagles, and
They
they
really
lose
haven't
him.
had anything good since Hainsworth left.
Yeah.
Because he was such a force. He was so good on Tennessee, and he's just been nothing ever since.
No, ever since. Yeah, he was a monster on Tennessee though.
And
Monster.
it's just not been good for them since he left. And
Yeah, I mean they just need something there. I mean when you're last in sacks, I mean that's just not good. Obviously, you're in the bottom of the league in pass yards per game. They were bottom of the league in rush yards per game too. But obviously the passing has to do with D-line, getting to the quarterback, all that stuff. So
we've talked about this.
Yeah, exactly.
You can improve your secondary if you have a good line.
Exactly.
Vice versa.
Yeah, yeah. So it goes both ways, but I didn't really look at who's out there in terms of D ends, but
There's there's not a lot.
there's not. Yeah.
Cliff Averill is probably the best one, but he was franchised by the Lions. There's Mathis, but he was
Just
signed. There's Chris Campbell. There's forgot his name. Oh, John Abraham of the Falcons, but he's old and declining. Yeah, there's really not a lot.
There's
of
not too
options.
much. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of options in the draft. There's Quentin Copples, who's probably the best defensive end, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go after him. He's just a can't miss guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's just put it at that. They need defensive end. Let's just assume that they're going to keep themselves to the declining Chris Johnson because he is declining. If they don't feel like taking a running back, go after defensive end. Let's just put it that way.
No, yeah. And I think they'll still stick with Chris Johnson, even though
I think
they probably
you have to.
You have to, I guess, at this point. So I guess they're gonna go for the big D end, hopefully.
Oh,
for them.
I guarantee you they will. It's just the question of who, and then who do you line up on the other side of this new defensive end? And they just have a lot of work to do on the line, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
They have the talent offensively. They have Kenny Britt, who's a great wide receiver, I think.
He's pretty good, yeah.
Chris Johnson, I don't know what happened to him after he signed a huge deal. He
fell apart, pretty much, is what happened. Like he was ridiculous then out of nowhere. I feel
it was basically the whole the thing we're talking about. When you pay a player, they just stop trying. I don't know what it is.
It's ridiculous.
It's like they need more incentive to make more money for some reason, and that's why they should switch to incentive-based contracts. But it makes no sense for how he could go from this amazing running back to nothing. It's just
and you see it all in pretty much every sport. I mean, baseball, and everybody's walkier. They come out and they're having MVP type seasons, and they're like, oh, let's go out and sign this guy, and then he comes back and comes back to earth. Exactly. You've seen it too many times.
I'm calling Jose Reyes out right now.
Really?
Right now.
Call him out. I like that. I'll call Reyes out too. I don't think he's going to be injured the whole year next year.
That, and he's not good. He's never going to hit above 300 again. He's never done it since his rookie year.
It's for me, it's just the injuries with him. I mean, you can't pay a guy like that who's going to be injured.
No. And then move Hanley.
Yeah. I'd be pretty upset if I was Hanley at this point.
Exactly. You're the guy who's been there for, I don't know how many years, 8 since they won the World Series in 03 or 04.
And now they're getting pretty good, and now he's got to move.
Right, and it's basically like saying like, oh, you've been here for a while, but you got to move positions.
Yeah,
because we're bringing in a new guy.
Yeah.
How would you feel? I would hate it. I would want to leave. Right away.
Exactly.
If I'm a shortstop, I'd be like, no.
No, get out of here with this. I'm not moving for you. Who are you? What have you done?
I mean, as much as he should probably embrace it. But,
exactly. He's whatever. But, baseball time.
Baseball.
I did the Cardinals and the Brewers yesterday. I think I had the Cardinals, as my favorite right now. With the Brewers, close second, I guess. I had, I think they're both pretty good. But we'll move on to the Reds and the Pirates today. And I think it pretty much drops off decently from there on out. I think the Reds have a chance to do a little something if the pitching stays healthy. With Cueto and Latos is not a bad 1-2 punch. Arroyo as their 3. He had a rough year last year, but I think he's a winner kind of guy. Homer Bailey and Mike Leake. In terms of they're both young guys who can do a little bit. Bailey kind of struggles with injuries. Leake was 12-9 last year. I think last year was his rookie year, so I mean that's not too bad as your fifth starter. But the top two guys can really carry him if they're healthy. Latos had an off year last year, but the year before he was very, very good. But obviously he's out of San Diego now, which is a huge pitcher's park, and we'll have to see what he does in Cincinnati. But I don't know. I think he could be pretty good.
I like him. I'm gonna go out and say I like him. I like him more than the other teams.
Really?
I like the Reds.
Really?
I'm picking them for my number one team.
Wow.
In the NL Central.
Going out.
I'm going to go right out and say it.
Wow.
I like it. I like Cueto. I like Latos. I know he's coming out of San Diego, which is a pitching park. I know he didn't have a great year last year, but he's young, and he can transition to a really good pitcher.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that, too.
I agree. Arroyo is all right. He's going to be the decent pitcher. I don't think their pitching is great, but I think it's good enough to get them through. And they really have such a great lineup that I think these mediocre players, and I also think they have a spot in the rotation, for improvement.
Yeah.
And
definitely. I just think that with the two, because I think the Cardinals and the Brewers both have much, much better pitching staffs than this team. And I really don't think the Reds. I think the Reds might have a better offense overall, but not that much better where they're going to take them down, is what I think. I think Jay Bruce, though, will have a big year this year. I think he's finally going to break out. He's been good, in his first few years. He's only 24 still. He had 32 homers last year. But I think he could really just break out and just have a 500-plus slugging type year, which, I don't think he's a real big average guy, but if he slugs over 500, which he has yet to do, I think that would be huge for them. Obviously, Votto's, one of the best first basemen.
Albert Pujols, Fielder, both left the division.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Reds kept their marquee first baseman. They added a potential ace in Latos, bolstered a bullpen that needed help. They got Madsen and Sean Marshall ready to close out games.
That's a big 1-2 punch, yeah.
With Votto and Latos, they lead a talented group of very young players, very people who want to go out and win. They have an amazing prospect, I think, in Devin Maresco.
I think, he's definitely a big-time hitter type guy.
He's a hitter. He needs some help defensively, but, this league, it's about hitting, too. So I think he'll definitely crash the lineup at some point. And a lot of people forget that Zach Cozart, who's their shortstop, that he went out last year. He's going to come back. And
he's a solid guy.
He's going to be a good player. I just really think Brandon Phillips, too, another guy who can hit for power, speed, and an average. He gets about 280.
Especially for second baseman.
He's probably. I couldn't even put him in the top 5. I mean, there's really no one behind Robinson.
Offensively, offensively, second baseman. Besides Cano, there's not too much out there.
They got a good defensive third baseman in Scott Rowland.
You wonder about his. He's been injured a lot last couple of years, but hopefully he can stay healthy for him.
And we'll see what Ludwig can do after many years of. He was brought over from San Diego.
Yeah, I don't really like Ludwig at all.
No, but he was great in St. Louis
a couple of years ago, yeah.
So we'll see what he can do. And I agree with you on Jay Bruce. I'm picking him as my little breakout pick here. I think he can do a lot.
Yeah. I think Drew Stubbs, I really like him. I mean, he was disappointing last year. He struck out 205 times, which is embarrassing as a major league player. But, I think all the tools are there that if he can just cut that down, he's got speed. He hit 15 homers, but I think he's got some power there. He stole 40 bases. He's a good fielder. I just think if he can cut down, he walked 63 times, which really isn't terrible. He struck out 205 times, hit 243, and still had an on-base at 321, which again isn't good, but for striking out 205 times, I don't think that's bad.
Pretty decent now.
So if he could, all he's got to do is cut that down, and he could be such a good player, I think.
Right. And he did have 37 homers and 70 steals in the past 2 seasons. And he still had an OPB that was 321, like you said.
Yeah.
Even regardless of his ridiculous amount of strikes out.
Yeah.
Which he had the second highest among qualified hitters in 2011. So,
yeah.
If he could just work on that one thing and bring it down, 50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if he strikes out 150 times, which is still a lot, but,
And just, 50 of those potential strikeouts could lead to 5 more home runs.
Exactly.
A couple more base hits, some more steals. another person who can definitely do more damage on this lineup.
So I definitely see some potential here.
I like it. I see a lot of potential.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
As much as I like the Cardinals, because they did win the World Series, Pujols was just the centerpiece of that team.
Yeah.
And I like their pitching. Chris Carpenter, though, is a question mark. He's always injured. His one full season was last year.
Yeah,
and that's just because they needed him because Wainwright was out.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, but I think the big three for them with Garcia, Wainwright, Carpenter, and then Gallardo, Markham, and Greinke is just way more solid than I think Cueto and Latos are both. I mean, big time potential, high ceiling guys, but too big of a question mark for me to pick them at this point.
No.
So I mean,
we'll just have to see.
We'll have to watch and see them. But Chapman, I think he's got to straighten things out. Roll this Chapman in the bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously got the arm. Everybody knows about
100 plus.
Yeah, like it's nothing. But I mean, he walked 7.4 per 9 last year. I mean, he struck out 12.8 per 9. But when you walk 7.4 per 9, guys can just go up there and pretty much just take it.
Yeah. And I'd have to say that's probably the one thing he worked on this offseason.
Yeah, I hope so.
And like I said, if they have room for improvement in their rotation, it's him. Bring him up, put him with Latos and Cueto, and that's pretty good.
He could be a big addition to that rotation. If he can come out and throw strikes and still have the arm that he has, I think that would be huge. And I think that might sway my pick a little bit. But for now, I still have them behind the Brewers and the Cardinals for now.
And their farm system is...
It's
mediocre, I'll just put it that way.
I mean, I think I've written down somewhere. Yeah, it's not bad. They got Mazzaraco or whatever his name is at catcher, who's a big time power. He's more of a Montero kind of guy. He's not a great catcher, but he's more of the hitter. But they got this guy Billy Hamilton at short, who stole 103 bases last year in
the minors?
Single A. Yeah, I think he stole 103, got caught 20 times. This dude can just straight up run. Is what's coming down. Yeah, I mean that's insane. They did lose Grandal, the catcher, another catcher they had, and Alonso in the Latos trade, which I think Alonso's a very, very good hitter. I kind of compare him a little bit to Adrian Gonzalez type thing. Yeah. I don't think he's going to hit 40 homers, but I think he can just straight up hit, and still get 20 homers, but hit like 330. So I think that was a big loss for them. I mean, never really got a chance because of obviously Votto was in his way, but in limited at bats last year he was phenomenal, and I think that was a big loss for him.
He went to the Padres and listing him as a left fielder.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with that.
He obviously, I agree with you. He's a great potential star athlete. He'll hit for power. He'll hit for average. But they moved him to left field. I just don't understand that one.
Yeah, I mean, if he could have been moved to left field, why wouldn't you just,
Why didn't they just keep him?
Yeah, why didn't they? Exactly.
Because Ludwig's not cutting in left field over Alonso.
Exactly.
So,
that was interesting.
Maybe because the Padres then got rid of Rizzo. So
I think they jumped the gun with that one, but
I just think that Alonso coming in would be your everyday first baseman because Rizzo's gone. But
yeah, I think they're still going to try with Jesus Guzman, which I think is going to not really work out for him that well.
Blow up in their face.
Exactly. So I think that he'll be out of there pretty quick.
Yeah. I don't know. I really think this team can go to war with Cueto and Latos. They combined for a 2.31 ERA last year, which it's respectable. So let's just put it that way. They probably have a really, really good lefty-righty bullpen combination in Marshall and Madsen.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I don't know. This with Votto as clearly your best hitter and the only one really being paid on this team, they still have a lot of space left to.
They do.
Go and pick someone up. And like we said, if Chapman comes up and improves on his walk rate, he's a really good number 3 guy in the rotation.
Oh, yeah, he could really, help them big time.
I really think they can go to war with this team.
I think they can. I think it's a weak division, so I think they can.
I agree with
I think they have a lot of potential where they could. Like I said, Latos, Cueto 1-2 could be very solid 1-2 punch. Jay Bruce breaking out could help them, obviously, if he's 3-4, him and Votto would be pretty solid for them. I definitely see their potential. I definitely see it there. I mean, the pieces are there. It's just I just think there's in terms of potential, I could see them finishing in first, honestly. But reality, I think there's too many question marks there.
I think if everything goes wrong, it's going to be the rotation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And basically, like you're saying, is after the 1-2 and Cueto and Latos, who do they have? And you're right. There's basically not a lot.
It could go terribly wrong.
And I'm just saying, if Chapman comes up and has that year that everyone thinks he's going to have,
that could be huge.
They could be huge. But other than that, I see they really don't have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, just because Cueto just worries me, just because I feel like he's injured a lot, and I think he's only really had 1 year where he's been pretty healthy throughout. So I don't know. I don't really like that as my ace who's always injured. So.
I liked how they got rid of Volquez though, because he was just erratic and
he was
awful.
Yeah, he was not good.
And wasn't he part of the Josh Hamilton trade?
Yeah.
So we'll have to give the Rangers they won that trade. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
The Rangers won the Josh Hamilton.
He had the one good year when him and Hamilton.
When they first got traded,
they were both.
Volquez had one really good year,
and it was pretty much an even trade for both. And then
now we know.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I remember that year, and everyone's saying, "Well, who got the better side of the trade?" And only time would tell. Time has told.
Time has definitely told, and I think the Rangers got that one. So whatever. But so I think we both.
So what, you're saying they're third for this year?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna go third still, with the potential for first, but I don't see it happening.
I just like them.
Yeah,
I just like them.
There's definitely stuff to like about this team.
It's such a weak division, and I'm saying, Pujols and fielder left, Votto's now the best for hitting player regardless of who else there is. I think.
Yeah.
So
I can see it, but
let's go with the Pirates.
And here's where the division really falls apart, I think.
I don't think the fans want to hear any more of the word of rebuilding, but
it's still happening.
Basically, I view the Pirates as the team that brings in players and then trades them away. Like, brings in great players, grooms them, and then trades them for worse players.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what they're doing, and I feel like they get so close, and then they fall back apart almost. It's just, I think they do.
They were there. Let's just put it that way. They were there halfway through the season.
They were pretty solid.
They were in first
for halfway through the season. Yeah.
And something happened. I don't know what happened. Nothing changed on the team. The roster didn't change. They just.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really like their hitting. Their pitching is a mess. If you're calling A.J. Burnett your ace of the staff, then you have some serious problems. I think A.J. will do, obviously, better than what he did with the Yanks, but when
it is the NL Central.
Exactly. But when you have Burnett and Eric Bedard as your guys, I think you're their 1-2. That's not really a solid 1-2 punch over there.
I like Bedard, but he is just ever since he got injured 4 or 5 years ago.
Ever since he was ridiculous, and then he got traded and he got injured. He's been a mess since then. I mean, he's obviously got the stuff. When he pitches, he's pretty good.
He's brilliant, but you're right.
When you start like 15 games a year, if that, that's not what you want out of your ace.
And I think they have good stars coming up. I do like James McDonald. I think he'll be a good pitcher. But
I think he'll be solid.
This just isn't his year for him.
No.
Jeff Carson's was interesting last year because he had a kind of good, under the radar year.
Yeah, he is solid. Yeah, he doesn't really do too much. He's more of a ground ball type guy.
He's just a guy that goes out and gives you 6 innings and maybe 1 or 2 runs. I don't know. He just had a under the radar type of year.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
And they got, like you said, so they have Burnett, Bedard. I'm gonna probably put Carson's as my number 3.
Yeah.
Charlie
McDonald, Morton, Kevin Correa. You can just. You
basically throw anyone in there.
I will. Call it a lineup. I will say, as weak as their staff is, they have 2 of the best pitchers coming up in Jameson Talon
and Garrett Cole. And I love Jameson Talon.
Yeah, he's very, very good. Very, very good.
You're right. And as much as their pitching staff is horrid right now, they do 2 pretty.
I think he's
pretty
probably
good guys.
Besides Shelby Miller of the Cardinals, he's the second best right-handed pitching prospect in baseball, I think. So, that's not too bad. And then Cole has big-time potential. The Yanks drafted him a few years ago, didn't sign. Yeah. But he's got a
so
a Strasburg kind of.
He doesn't sign with the Yankees, but he signs with the Pirates.
Yeah.
Good job, Cole.
Have a good career, Garrett Cole.
You'll be out of there in 3 years.
We'll get you eventually.
The Yankees get everyone. Put it that way.
Yeah. So, but they have that. I mean, I don't really like their hitting too much, though. I mean, McCutchen is only 25, and I think he's, pretty solid. He's a good fielder and center, but I mean, he's not the big power bat you want. I'm not going to hang it up on Pedro Alvarez yet. I think he still has some potential. I mean, the time he has played in the majors, he has been god-awful at the plate. He has done absolutely nothing. He's been a huge bust. I mean, if it continues, then they're in some serious trouble, I think. But, not yet. I mean, he's 25. We'll see what he has this year. I mean, in the 74 games last year, he only hit 191 and slugged 289. So that's not what you want out of, your big-time
He's supposed
hitting
to be the
prospect.
power.
Exactly.
He's supposed to be the power guy in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And
he's not getting it done.
I don't know. I need to see something good out of him, or else I'm giving up, because he has just been awful since he entered the league, and everyone's so high on him. And they really don't have another power guy. I mean, there's Garrett Jones, but
he's not. They don't really have any power guys. But I mean, McCutchen, I think, led him with 23 homers last year.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad for a center fielder like that. With he's kind of a small guy, but for leading your team with 23 homers, in I think this day and age is not that good at all.
No, not at all. 23 homers for your leader is just not cutting it, because there are guys who hit 40 to 50 and 23.
Exactly. So. But, I mean...
And he just re-signed with them as well.
He did. He signed a little extension with them. I mean, I like that signing. I think he's definitely deserving.
I think they need
it
because really they got no one else.
No, yeah, they definitely need it. But I think he deserves it. I mean, he's been good since he's been up there. Yeah. But they got a couple outfielders coming up.
They had a pretty good year at Jose Tabata.
He was injured last year. I think he only played 91 games, but I think he's only 23.
Yeah, he's very young.
Former Yankee.
They do have a young, not incredibly young, but kind of young team they're filling out there.
I mean, second, I kind of like Neil Walker a little bit for a second baseman who can hit. I mean, he had 36 doubles last year. He doesn't really hit for power, but he's kind of a gap kind of guy.
I have him in there as well. And I got Clint Barnes there at shortstop,
which I think is huge for their defense. Not gonna do anything for their offense, but he's a very good defenseman.
No, he hit around like 250, but
he's a real good defenseman.
And Rod Barajas, another defensive guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to make about Alex Presley. I think he'll have a good year there.
I think he'll be all right. I mean, he only played 52 games last year. He did have an OPS of 804, hit 298, but I think he'll be solid. I don't think he'll touch those numbers for an entire season.
I think he'll be the only player to hit 300 for the team. I'm just going to call it out.
All right, I like that.
I don't think any other player can hit 300 except for Presley.
I don't think anybody's going to hit 300, to be honest with you. But, I could kind of see him maybe doing that. But, we'll see. They got a couple guys coming up, too, for the outfield. They got Josh Bell. He's got some power. And then they got this guy, Starling Marte, who they said could eventually push McCutchen to left field, which is I thought was pretty interesting.
I've actually heard of him before.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a really good prospect.
He's pretty good, yeah. He's pretty good. So, I mean, they got a couple guys, I guess. I mean, none of those two guys are really big-time hitting prospects to really, get too excited about.
No.
I think the pitchers are very exciting, but the hitters aren't really too exciting, but anything can help this team at this point.
Yeah, because they're not going to have a lot of slow-paced games. I mean, basically with the signing of Barnes and Barajas, they've guarantee themselves 3 automatic outs at the bottom of the order with that team.
Yeah, Barajas, Barmes are not good hitters.
They were basically defensive pickups.
Yeah. I mean, Barmes is phenomenal at short. But, Barajas is pretty solid defensive catcher, but neither one of them are going to hit pretty much. I mean, Barajas is all right for a catcher. I mean, he had 16 homers in 98 games. But, he does not really get on base. He does not hit for average at all. But, whatever.
We just need to have a good season out of Alvarez, basically, and to call this...
pretty much, yeah. For them to have any chance of, doing
continuing
anything.
What their first half looked like.
Yeah, no. And I think the future in general, because, from what coming out, he was said to be the big stopper, the big, cleanup hitter of their lineup, and he has done anything but that at this point. So
yeah, and they just signed McCutchen, and if Alvarez can prove that he's in there with the future, then then they do have a future.
Yeah.
Tabata, I can see them keeping Tabata as their right fielder. I can see them having Marte, like you said, coming up, pushing McCutchen over. They can actually field a pretty good team with the two,
especially for the
two good
AL
pitchers
Central
coming up as well. Yeah, it's just they just need time, and they need their players to prove that they can actually come out and have a good year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the pitchers really just need to somehow keep them in it, I guess. And then obviously, the guys coming up are two studs and could be one of the best 1-2 combinations in the bigs in years to come. I think definitely. I mean, they're two top-notch pitching prospects right there on the same team. I mean, the only other teams I could really think of that are that young and probably the Rays.
The Rays are
ridiculous.
They're set for years to come.
They're always set because their management is so good. It's not even funny. It's not even. It's just
I don't
ridiculous.
Get it. And they're
great.
They have such a low payroll, and we'll get to that when we get.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
them,
definitely. But I love what they do over there.
Yeah,
honestly, I love it.
Team.
Love
and
it.
You're right. As of teams that are below the age limit of 30 or something, I don't even know. But the Rays are definitely number one. Pirates could be up there too.
Pirates, they're not terrible. I mean, they're middle of the road farm system in general, but they got a couple big guys.
They got big guys coming up. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
And if they can just hold on to them and not trade them away, like they usually do.
Yeah, that would be bad if they traded them away. As a Pirate fan, I would just give up at that point.
I don't know how they haven't. I don't know
how they have any fans still, but
besides the Cubs, the Pirates have to have one of the best fan base because the Cubs haven't won anything. we'll get to them tomorrow along with the
that's
Astros.
Gonna be a fun day. The Cubs and the Astros.
I personally, I always said that they have the best fan base because
Cubs.
When every year you go out there and you say we're not winning this year,
how
do you still sell out?
That is a good point. They still get everybody to come to games. They
still sell out the stadium. They still have people looking over, buildings from 2 blocks away.
I mean, I think Wrigley has a lot to do with that, just the whole Wrigley aspect. I mean, I would love to go see a game there. My cousin who lives out there went out there this summer, and he said it's just awesome, the whole atmosphere and everything. So I would definitely like to see a game there. I'd like to go to Fenway. See a game there too, just because the old stadium.
It's just Fenway, yeah. I do want to go to Fenway. Wrigley, definitely one of those. I kind of want to go to Safeco Field as well.
I know a friend who went out there and he said it's a really nice stadium.
Really, yeah. I do want to go see it. I've been to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Basically, San Francisco, Yankees, Mets. Not much else. Just put it that way.
Yeah. I mean,
it's tough to go out and see these stadiums.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I didn't even go to I don't think I went to a Yankee game last year. Usually I go to like one. Yeah.
I try to go to one game for my teams every year.
Yeah.
And this year I didn't get to go to any football games.
Yeah.
I only did one Yankees game last year, so.
Yeah, I think
it's money.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Yeah, no kidding. You go to Yankee Stadium, you're paying
$900
for a hot dog.
Yeah, those prices are ridiculous.
So
I was looking at some Knicks games tickets, and they're just the lowest game was like $75 to $100 per ticket, which isn't bad, but they were playing the Cavaliers, and I just
no.
I don't know.
When you go to a Nets game, they pay you to go to those games.
Well, you just told me this morning that Brooks Lopez is out.
Brooks Lopez is out for 2 to 3 weeks. There goes anything.
There goes another 2 to 3 weeks.
There goes another 2 to 3 weeks.
Let's put it this way.
The
season ends in like a month and a half, basically.
It's almost over. The misery is almost over. Let's just lose out so we can get it. I mean, obviously, I think the lottery is stupid. Honestly,
God,
I hate the lottery. Hate it so much. Just to switch topics big time. The lottery is terrible.
Switch it right now.
Well, we're switching it. The lottery is terrible.
I hate the lottery.
Hate it.
Because the Charlotte Bobcats will finish with the worst record. They will finish as the worst team, and they need that first pick, and they might not get it because of the lottery.
What is the deal with that? Like, if you're the worst team in the league, why are you not getting the first pick?
And I get it. In basketball, it's easier to throw games. It's easy to throw games in any sport.
You could throw a game in any sport.
If I'm a pitcher and I throw right down the middle, someone's going to hit the ball.
Yeah.
If I'm a defensive guy on football and I let someone run by me, they're going to score.
Exactly.
I don't get it. You can throw a game in any sport.
You could throw any game. It's ridiculous. So why is... I think, and what was it, the Nets a couple years ago, weren't they the worst and they didn't get the first pick?
They didn't get the first pick, yeah. It was.
I was so upset by that because I think, what year was that? I forget who was the number one pick that year. But it was somebody, who was it? Dang it. It might have been John Wall. Or,
2 years ago then.
Yeah. Like, feel free to, get him on the squad. I mean, I just...
I think it's dumb. I think it needs
so
to be really looked at. Just, I don't know. Because, teams, as of right now, teams aren't throwing it. The Bobcats aren't throwing it on purpose. They're not losing on purpose.
No, they're just this bad.
They have like 5 wins.
They're terrible.
Out of the 40 games that have been played.
Yeah.
So they could literally have under 10 wins at the end of the season and not get the first pick because of the lottery.
The lottery is so stupid. I mean, you could... How many teams go in the lottery? What is it?
I think 15. Maybe.
I don't even know, but if you have somebody like that, one of the better teams, I don't want to say better, but better the worst teams can, the top pick is just ridiculous.
I get it. If you have the most losses, you get 5 slips of paper as opposed to other teams that get 2 or so.
Yeah,
I don't know how the system works.
You have better chance if you're the worst team, but still, you should just
I want
automatically.
the guaranteed number one pick. I don't want the putting the hand in and all of a sudden maybe that piece of paper says something else.
Exactly, because most years, I think this year is a very, very deep draft class where it doesn't matter as much as past years about number one pick. But there's usually 1 or 2 guys that are clearly, head and shoulders, this is the number one guy, and then it drops off. But, most years it's like that. This year I think there's...
Well, this year because of the lockout, it's a lot different. A lot of players stayed in college.
Exactly, so...
So, yeah, you're right about that. I still would be pissed if I didn't get the first
I
pick,
still would want the first pick. No kidding.
But you're right. Basketball, since there's only 2 rounds, it's a lot harder to find talent. There's not a ton of guys.
Yeah.
And after the first couple picks, there's nothing.
Pretty much,
unless you get just this all-star guy who came out of nowhere, which is, in basketball, it's tough. You're just not going to find that.
No, it's very, very tough. You pretty much after the first few picks, you're just looking for, complimentary guys that
you're just looking to fill people in.
Can, contribute, but, usually aren't going to be stars in the NBA.
Yeah. In the NBA, you get, so like we said, 2 rounds, 2 picks out of 60 guys. Every other sport, I don't know how many rounds baseball has. They have so many different drafts.
You're drafting
complimentary
for like
drafts.
years.
So the NFL is like 280 people going in. MLB has tons and tons of people. It's just it's tough to find talent in the NBA.
It really is.
And I don't like the lottery at all.
No, the lottery stinks. It definitely stinks. Obviously, if they get the number one pick, they're probably. I think Anthony Davis is still number one on everybody's board.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He is very, very good. But I didn't know this, but I was watching the other day, and he hit a 3, and I was like, okay, all right. I didn't know you could hit 3. You're just gonna go out and do that? Okay, fine, fair enough.
He's such a good player. I don't know what it is about him. He's got that number one talent in him.
He does.
He's definitely gonna be a number one pick, no matter what team's up there. I think.
He's definitely. Honestly, I would rather have Barnes. I think Barnes is kind of. He doesn't do that well in college. I think he's more of an. I feel like he's just an NBA guy. He just looks like an NBA player.
He was good last year. He fell off a bit this year. So
he was at the end of last year. He was really good, and then he's been pretty solid for the most part this year. I just think he just kind of gets more of a bad rap because when he came in, people were saying he was the next Kobe, in terms of high school prospects. So I think he gets, but just some of the stuff he does is just ridiculous.
I think it's unfair to just say, hey, this guy looks like him, because then then they got to think like, oh, I got to live up to this. And
exactly.
It puts a lot of unfair, pressure on them.
Yeah, in terms of that situation, I think he's definitely handled it well. He's averaging 18 points a game right now. he can take control of a game. He makes some of these shots look so easy that it's just ridiculous. So I think he's going to be a really, really solid NBA player. And if the Nets get him, I would be thrilled. Thrilled. So we'll see.
Maybe the Nets will be number 2. So if you're the Nets at number 1, who are you picking?
The Nets at number 1? I mean, it's going to be hard to not take Anthony Davis.
It's got to be, right?
As much as I would want to take Barnes just because I think he's going to be awesome and I love him. But Davis is just a beast. He can score. He can play. He blocks everybody's shot down there.
He does.
It's
He's
ridiculous.
got the most ridiculous highlights of blocking people.
Yeah, I mean, him and John Henson can pretty much block anybody, but he's pretty much John Henson 2.0 in terms of doing everything else.
Yeah.
So
he can score as well.
He can score. I mean, so he's a monster. I think you would probably still have to take him. I'd rather see them take Barnes, but I think you can't really pass up that talent. So I mean, maybe we'll see what Darren Williams does, but
where he goes.
Yeah, if he's still on the team and you say, let's draft him with number 1, are you gonna stay now?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You might get him to stay.
Yeah.
As well, if you get like Dwight Howard or someone else as well.
Oh yeah. But
like we said, it's a deep draft and
very deep draft class.
I don't think we'll be here for that because it's so late. But
no, we probably won't.
No, yeah.
That's a shame.
Maybe next year for you.
Next year, yeah. Take control next year.
Up.
Keep up the Daily Sports Rant. Gotta keep it going.
So, Cubs Astros tomorrow.
Cubs Astros. What are we doing?
Football.
NFC North.
Yeah, we'll do that. NFC North.
Okay. Good.
Basically, it's wherever we want to do.
Whatever we want to do, we
we'll
can do it. And are we doing college basketball?
College basketball, tomorrow? Yeah. Let's do a little college basketball.
Because by the time we come back,
up,
exactly. So we'll do
when
that.
we come back, March Madness will be underway.
Exactly.
And we will be really
very, very busy.
Really backed up and far behind the sports news. So
Yes. So, but
that's it for today.
That's
It's 8 o'clock. It's our quitting times.
It is our quitting time.
Gotta get out of here.
So. We're getting kicked out. Not really.
So you're listening to Daily Sports Rant from the Charger radio station here at UNH.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back tomorrow with tons and tons
of stuff. Fun.
Hopefully for us, we'll be moving up soon in the world of UNH.
We've been saying that for a while now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna get on their behinds.
Yeah, good. Nice.
All right, that's it. See ya.
Peace out.